Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jessica and I'm your host on this channel, Just Signatures. In today's video, we'll be doing this beautiful Milkmaid dress. Yes, it's everything. I said it's everything because it's giving everything it needs to give. Trust me on that. That's what I have on. When you'll be seeing a full picture on your screen, don't worry. And also, you can wear it different ways. There are different ways you can wear this particular boo because there's a zipper in front, which means you can pull up the zipper to whatever length you want it to be and show some legs if you're into that. If you're not, you can zip it down. If you're not, you don't have to even put it in the first place. But if you're someone that you want to rock this to church, you still want to wear it to picnics and go out, yeah, of course, you can also do this with the zipper. Helps for that. So when you're going to church, you zip it down and go to church like a good sister that you are. Then if you want to go for your party or for your picnic or whatever you want to go for, you can, zip it up and show some legs, like I said earlier. Another way you can rock this, you can see I have the sleeves. You can see I have the sleeves on right now. You can also make it an off-shoulder sleeve because there's an elastic here, so you can rock it as an off-shoulder, and probably you make your sleeve a little bigger than mine. Sorry, I'm looking at myself instead of looking at the camera. So if you're interested in watching how I created this masterpiece, okay, I didn't create it, I recreated this masterpiece. Let's get to the workstation. See you guys there. So start by taking away 4 to 6 inches from your fabric or from the pattern that you're working with. Now I'm using 6 inches because I want it really low, but you can do 4 inches if you don't want it that low. You can do 5 inches, you can do 6 inches. I think those are the standard measurements, except you want to modify it into yours. What I'm doing is I'm making a straight line, meaning all the measurements I'm taking them continuously. You would know this if you've seen my basic bodice pattern or any of my pattern that I've been doing on this channel. It's just drawing a basic bodice pattern. The only difference is this is an off shoulder. So if you've not seen how I make my basic bodice pattern, please check that video before you continue. Then here I'm just taking my horizontal measurement with 2 inches allowance. You can decide on the allowance that you want, but I always do 2 inches because 2 inches is fine for me, especially when I'm lining the piece. So on your bust line, you take your bust measurement divided by 4, add your allowance. Under bust line, you take your under bust measurement divided by 4, you add your allowance. The same for the waistline, that is the full length of the top. So before I didn't add the bust line, and that's what I'm adding here. I only put my upper chest line, which is 8 inches, and then my under bust with my waistline. But now I'm adding my bust line, which you should do as well. I'm connecting all of the lines together. Please make sure to blend all sharp edges because you don't want that on your clothes. It wouldn't look nice on your body. It will not be flattering on your body. So just make sure to blend all straight lines. Even though I didn't do it here, I'll do it. Just ruled my bust line, and that's it. The next thing that we're going to do now for this Milkmaid dress, we want to get the cup part. So we'll take our nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. But before then, our shoulder measurement, we take it divided by 2, and then we'll minus 1.5 inches. Now if your shoulder measurement is 16, which is 8 inches, you minus 1.5 inches from it. Hope you understood that. And then you connect your armhole. After connecting the armhole, we'll now go up by 1.5 inches. You can do 2 inches, depends on you. And then what I'm taking here is my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. After taking my nipple to nipple divided by 2, I'll rule a straight line
connecting that point, because I want that my curve to meet where my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2 before curving up to meet the bust line. Just look at what I'm doing and trust me, you get it. Then the next thing is to connect the armhole point downwards to meet the cup that we just formed. After connecting with the dotted line, you then blend it. When you get the accurate shape that you want, you keep doing it with dotted lines until you get the shape that you want. There's no error here, there's no mistake here. Just make sure the lines are connecting with each other. That's just the basic thing here. And trust me guys, we're almost done with the front pattern. It's as simple as this, like very, very simple. So guys, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, like and share this video. Now I'm cutting out the front pattern, including the cup part. Then we'll work on the cup. Remember, this pattern, the cup is gathered, like it's very full, so you have to gather it up together. That's just the difference between this and a normal or a regular top pattern. So here I'm just going to measure 1 inch interval all the way around. You can do 1.5 inches, but I feel like 1 inch is the best to take. After doing that, you connect the 1 inch line straight. You can see as shown on your screen. You connect the 1 inch line straight all the way to the last one. After connecting the line, this will enable us to be able to slash and spread easily. Now, after connecting all of the lines, the next thing that we're going to do is to number them or label them. You can do ABC, you can do 1, 2, 3, whichever works for you. But I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now it depends on your size. Your size depends on how many lines you're going to have. So don't be scared if you have 15 lines or you have 6 lines or you have 12 lines and you think you're wrong. No, you're not. After doing that, I'm going to cut out all the pieces and then we're going to slash and we're going to spread. We've slashed now. What we have to do now is to spread. Now the best way to spread and get your accurate measurement is to rule a straight line in the middle. Now you can see I ruled a straight line in the middle, and then I'll pick the pattern and connect. You know, when we're drafting the pattern initially, we add lines on those patterns. Now if you're using this up line, you make sure you use the up line all through. If you're using the down line, you make sure you use the down line all through. But I use the up line because the smaller part towards the end does not have the down line. So I spread them by 1 inch interval. That is, the space between each of the panels is 1 inch. Now here is where the trick comes. If you have enough fabric or you want it fuller, you can do even as much as 2 inches. You can do as much as 3 inches. Depends on how full you want it to be. But I didn't have too much fabric, so I just did 1 inch, which was still okay for me. So you can do 1 inch, 1.5, 2 inches, 3 inches. Just make sure you're spreading with even number. Like if you're spreading with 1 inch, you spread 1 inch all the way around. If you're spreading with 3 inches, you spread 3 inches all the way through. Do not spread the first one with 1 inch, then you spread the second one with 5 inches. Hell no, sis. So just spread with even numbers all around. Now you can see that I'm doing the same thing for all panels. So right now I'm just going to fast forward it because you've seen how I did at least 4 panels. You get the gist by now. Now after I've gone ahead to spread, I added 1 inch on the upper part for my rope allowance, then 1/2 inch all the way around to be able to join it to the bodice of the dress. Now you can see when you add it up, it will match. You gather it up and it will match. You see that when we are sewing this particular dress. I'm just labeling my patterns appropriately. So guys, once again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Share to your friends you don't know who might need it, because it's a really fun tutorial to do. Now the next thing to do is to get our back pattern. It's the basic back pattern that you do for any of your basic bodies. The only difference is this is off shoulder, so you repeat the same thing you did for the front on the back. And then for the shoulder line, remember we minus 1.5 inches. That's the difference. Then you add your zipper allowance. Now after adding my zipper allowance, I'm going to remove 1 inch from that zipper allowance to avoid zip bulge, and I'm going to connect it with a slant line all the way up. That's the only difference between the front and the back pattern. Like I said earlier, watch my basic bodice pattern and then you understand all of this. It's not nice if you keep going back to things like this. So I'm just cutting out the zip part. Now when you're cutting this on your fabric, you cut exactly what you have on your pattern because all of your allowances are already there. This is the front and back pattern all set, all ready for cutting. The next thing you need to do is to place it on your fabric and then you cut. If you're cutting directly, if you've been drafting directly on your fabric, you cut and then get ready for joining. But for those who did pattern like I did, time for you to go cut on your fabric after labeling appropriately.
So guys, this is the measurement that we'll be working with. The waist, my waist measurement is 37, while the full length of the skirt part is 45. Now we'll now do waist measurement plus seam allowance. You know, we'll be having a zipper in front and we'll be having a zipper at the back. So because of that, we'll be needing 3 inches seam allowance, 1.5 for the front, 1.5 for the back. You can do 2.5, that is 1 inch for the front and 1.5 for the back, whatever is good for you. But yeah, I did 3 inches. So my waist measurement 37 plus 3 inches equals 40. Now this 40 inches, we divide it by radius of half of a circle, which is 3.142, or you do 3.14, and I got 12.7. So this will be the radius of the circle. That's the part we'll be marking on the upper side. Then this 12.7 plus 45 is 57.7. So if we're adding 1 inch to this 45 for folding allowance, that is hemming allowance, that's 46. 12.75 plus 46, that's 58.7. Now this measurement is for us to know the exact thing, the fabric that we're going to cut. So let's get to the video. So remember, we have 57.7. If your seam allowance is already included, you can just do the 57, but I'll be doing 58. I already have seam allowance in that measurement, but when it comes to anything circle, I like it to be really long. I don't know, I just love it that way. So we'll be doing 58. You see what I'm doing? I'm measuring on the length on this, you know, when they are measuring for you, the yardage part. This is the length, the by 60. This is the yardage part. So I'm measuring my 58 inches here. Now when you measure your 58, you fold into 2 from that point. You fold into 2 from that point. Now you can see what we have here. I'm moving backwards so you see what we have. I'll be laying it on a flat surface so that we'll be able to understand properly. The next thing to do is to fold at an angle because we are cutting a half circle. So what I'll do is I'll pick this edge, this folded edge, and bring it towards me like this. Are you seeing it?
The measurement you're going to put here will be the radius of the circle that you took earlier. You remember ours was 12.7 or thereabout. So you're going to put that all the way around in an angular manner, the way you see from the edge, from the tip of the circle. You do it round, the same measurement. If you got 10 inches, you do your 10 inches round and then you connect it all the way around so it will form a circle. And then you go up by half an inch. You just measure half an inch all around because that's where your seam allowance will be. If you cut directly on your measurement, then you've already taken away your seam allowance. It will make it bigger and you have to start pleating, which might not look nice in some cases. Then after taking your 0.5 inches allowance, we want to take the length of the skirt. Now you take your full length measurement and then you measure it all round. Now you can see I'm taking my full length measurement from where that first circle is. You can decide to do this or you can decide to just do from that angle where you did. Now if you're doing from this half circle where I'm doing mine from, you'll be taking just the length of your skirt, which is 45 inches. But if you're doing from that angle, you add that 45 to your 12.5 to give you your total 57 point something inches that you got. Hope that was clear enough. And then I'm just giving you a closer look of what we have because the chalk is not that visible because the pattern, the fabric itself has a lot of patterns. But I hope we understand what's going on here. Then you cut. After cutting, I'm just giving notches to the side because I'll be using the notch very soon. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel. If you are not yet subscribed, give this video a thumbs up. So we have our full circle all cut out. The next thing is to mark the midpoint. So I went ahead to give a notch to the midpoint. From the midpoint, from this midpoint, I will measure my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 4.5. I'll be adding 1 more inch to make it 5 inches. Okay, so I'll be cutting 6 inches. My nipple to nipple measurement is 4.5. Then when I add 1.5 inches, it will make it 6 inches. So I'll be cutting 6 inches. And by the time I put it back with 1.5 inch, I'll be having my 4 inches. So I cut from the 6 inches. I'll go ahead and join it by 1.5 inches. After joining that part together, you're not joining all the way down. You'll be joining up to 10 inches or more. Depends on where you want your zipper to start from, because wherever your zip starts from is how far you can zip it to. Hope you can see that from the video if you're not understanding what I'm saying. After doing that, you go ahead and add your zipper to the remaining parts of the opening. Now you see mine measures 10 inches, which was okay for me because I don't mind with the legs showing. So you just go ahead and add your zipper to the remaining opening that you have on your skirt. And this is what it's looking like so far. You can see I just put it on my mannequin and see where I joined it. When it's all zipped down, it's not looking like there's anything there. It just looks like there is a little slit down because I didn't close that down part, which is not necessary. And then when I open the zipper, you can see it's already looking like a slit, and because it's invisible zip, it's not that obvious. The next thing is for us to get to the upper bodice. We're done with the down part. We want to go to the upper bodice, and then remember the half an inch allowance that you need to add to your pattern. But on the cup part, we already added it to the pattern. All we need to do is add 1 inch allowance to the center front of the cup part. Then the back, you cut 2 patterns. And I went ahead to use the remaining strap of fabric I have for my sleeve. If you have more fabric, please do a more or a better sleeve, but yeah, I just had to make do with what I had in hand. The length of the sleeve measures 26 inches, while the width of the sleeve measures 26 inches, while the length measures about 6.5 to 7 inches. So like I said, if you have more fabric, then why not make use of it? Next thing now is to work on the cup part. Remember that 1 inch allowance we left in front of the cup part. We're going to sew down that 1 inch allowance, but we're not sewing it all the way up. We'll be measuring at least 3 inches from the lower parts. You don't want to expose your body that much, so you'll be measuring 3 inches upwards, and then you measure that 1 inch so you know where you're sewing from. So from that 3 inches, you're going to sew 1 inch downwards. Remember, we added 1 inch. After sewing that 1 inch downwards, you're going to fold in the allowance to clean up that part, and then you put your rope at the upper part where we added 1 inch. You see that now. Remember the 1 inch. After closing it up, you fold your remaining allowance to clean up the mouth and sew it down, and then fold 1 inch up from the up part. Remember, we kept 1 inch from the up part. You fold it down, and then you insert your ropes. Hope that was clear enough. Let me know in the comment section if you did not understand anything. Then I went ahead to do a gathering stitch around the bottom part of the cup, and then I'll be pulling it, gathering it up together. I think I have a video on this channel on how I made a gathering stitch, a YouTube short, so it's a very short tutorial for you to watch. I showed you 2 methods on how to make gathering stitches, so it's really easy. Now the gathering part, when you gather, you're going to gather for it to fit into the allowance you have on your cup part for your main bodice. You see that in a minute. Now I just remove the pattern from the main bodice. Now you can see how the main bodice is. Now this allowance that you have on it is where you gather your cup to fit in. If I'm not making sense, please just look at what I'm doing on the screen. You can see that now. You have to gather your cup. That center part where you joined it will be the demarcation. That's how you will know where each cup is supposed to be. You gather it up and join it to it, and then remember to cut a lining piece for the main bodice. You don't need to line the cup part, just the main bodice. And even the main bodice, if you don't want to line it, you can just go ahead and use your overlocker or your serger and serge the edges all together. But I just want to line it so that it will make the inside look neat. And especially if you're working for a client, it's good for you to just line it. You don't need too much lining. You can use any leftover lining you have in your store and then line only the upper bodice. You don't need to line the lower bodice, so it make it look clean and professional. If you've gotten to this stage with me, please subscribe to this channel, like and share this video. It really will help the channel to grow. And then you go ahead and sew it. Then when you flip, you see how neat it's going to look. So that's the essence of lining it. Now guys, you can see the front part of the upper bodice is done. You see how neat the inside looks. Wow, it looks professional and really neat. Yeah, and this video is beginners friendly, so I mean you have it all. Now go ahead and join both the front and the back bodice together, because I've already turned the back bodice with my lining. I have all of these videos on my channel. Just check it out if you don't know how to do that by now. Now after going ahead to join the front and back of the upper bodice, I'll go ahead and get my sleeve ready. Now remember I told you I just cut out the straight strips I have left. I even went ahead to join, so I'll have a much more longer strip. Then I'll just go ahead and cut like a sleeve curve along the sleeve, so that we'll be able to join it to the bodice. Then the upper part will fold it and the lower part will fold it as well.
So for the sleeve, I gathered up the hem and I'll be putting a band. I just cut the band to my size. I sewed it up like this, then I turned it together, so it will be neat on the inside as well as on the outside. So this will be like inside and outside. So I'll be attaching it to this part, and then the upper part I'll be putting an elastic.
After putting the elastic, you go ahead and join the band parts together with the main sleeve, and then you add it to your dress, and that's it. You're done, guys, with this tutorial. Hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, share, and share the video to your friends. Subscribe to the channel and turn off your post notification bell so that you get notified whenever I post any new video. The only thing I didn't show here is how I added my zipper, which is self-explanatory to everyone. Now you can see how neat the dress is inside and outside. Alright, guys, it's been a fun tutorial. It's been a happy one, and once again we are at 1K followers, so please keep subscribing. Have a nice day till I see you in my next video. Check out the finished look of this dress. See how beautiful it is. See how lovely it's looking. Wow. See you in my next video. Bye for now.